Hello, everyone. This is the Senior Wow Club. And so I want you to, first of all, let's do some housekeeping. If you're joining us live, would you in the comments down below put hashtag live? And if it's the replay that you are watching, hashtag replay, and tell us where you're coming from. I'm in Mexico, and my guest today is from the USA. One more thing, above this video, there's a strip that says StreamYard. And StreamYard wants you to click on that so that you can give them permission to use your name so that you can interact with us. Otherwise, you come across as Facebook user. If you just want to simply react, then you can thumbs up or send us a heart. You know, we love hearts. So so today I want to introduce you to an ordinary senior just like you, just like me, who is doing extraordinary things. Not only is he a father, a partner, a photographer for his beloved Newsbury College events, all of them, he is running an online business, all right, that deals with effective parenting being a dad. Okay, with any further ado, let's meet Garry Talbert. Hello, Garry. How are you today?
Hello, how are you, Lucy, and everyone out there? I'm
Thank
good.
you. So, Garry, I mentioned that you were from the USA. Could you tell us where in the USA you are coming in from?
Yes, I'm from South Carolina. Actually, as you mentioned, I am from Newberry, South Carolina, and which is a little small town north of Columbia.
Hmm.
And this is where I went to college here. And my daughter actually graduated from Newberry College as well. I moved back here. In fact, she was the one that said, "Dad, your heart and soul is in Newberry, and that's where you need to be living." And I looked at Jesse and I was like, "You know what? You're right." And so I got with some friends here. I've got some good friends, from college that still live here, and found a place to live. And I actually live right across the street. In fact, looking out my window right here, I'm looking at the football stadium.
How
So,
wonderful.
yeah.
Shika just joined us, so she's saying hello to both of us. Hi, Garry. Hi, hello, Lucy and Garry. And Shika, if you would just give, above this video, just click on the StreamYard user, StreamYard, yeah, and let them click on that, and just that gives them permission to use your name. We'd love to not address you as Facebook uh, user. And we also have Aiden, who is joining us. So, Garry, you said that we were talking a little bit about who you were really before you discovered self-education industry. Can you talk a little bit more about that? I know that you moved there. Your daughter said, this is where your life is, Dad. You got to move here. So tell us who you were really a little bit more before you discovered the self-education industry that we're going to be talking about today.
Absolutely. Growing up, I was always expected to be a doctor.
Oh,
And the summer after my senior year in high school, I went and worked at a camp with kids. And when
okay.
I came home from that camp, I knew headed into Newberry College that
Mhm.
I wanted to be a teacher.
Wow.
And so that's when I came to college. That's what I pursued. I actually played sports here. I was a football player and here at Newberry and a cheerleader. But ultimately, by the time of my sophomore year, working with my department head, she actually helped me get a teaching job like a block away. In fact, it's still a block away from me now, the same school, and it's part of the college now. It's a teaching building there, and I literally started teaching PE even when I was still in college.
Wow,
So, so
that sounds like
teaching was my thing. I mean, it
that
was
that was your thing for sure.
no
Um,
doubt. And then once I moved through that, I ended up retiring from that and moved into intensive home counseling, which I
okay.
did for a number of years. And so that's been my life, is working with kids, families, parents, and everything.
Okay, so Aiden says, "Oh wow, I didn't know that." So laughing out loud for me when I was a kid, they wanted me to be a lawyer too. you
Yeah,
know,
my dad was not real happy about me being a teacher, even though my mom supported me.
and,
But
and
but I've loved it, and it's been my mission in life.
And why do you think your dad didn't want you to be a teacher? I know the answer, but I want to hear from you.
Dad didn't think I was going to make enough money,
That's right.
of course,
Teachers are
and
not into money.
and then plus, Dad was a businessman in charge of his business, and he felt like me being a teacher just wasn't where I should go.
Right.
But again, my mom supported me, who was really so important in my life, and
Okay.
actually part of what I even now do when I go back and think about how she parented me is very much a big part of the kinds of things I share.
Right. Well, our people who are joining us, Shika says you're very inspiring, and Eden says, he can see the passion in you about teaching, and so yeah, because you just light up so much when you talk about teaching. So those were part of your struggles back then, for sure. I mean, wanting to do something, your father wanted you to do something else, and
Yep.
that's a hard one.
Yes. Well, and I've encountered in my teaching career and in working with families
Hmm.
that is still very prevalent. Parents see these visions, they want to
I
support
know.
their children, but they have this vision of what they want to see for their children to be, and the children have other interests in things, and that can be a very difficult
Absolutely.
system to play out right there.
Absolutely. So, where would you say the moment in your life that pushed you to do something else? Because you had all these struggles going on, and I mean, it takes fortitude. It takes courage to say, you know what, I'm going to do what I want to do. I mean, what was that moment for you? Can
Well,
you
it was
tell us?
very interesting that you bring this up because in 2020,
Hmm.
uh, I was very familiar with Tony Robbins. All right. I had
Okay.
seen him and done some things around him, but, a little bit of things. And it happened to come up, some popped up about the World Summit, the 2020 World Summit.
Okay.
And Kathy, my partner today,
Hmm.
uh, as I looked at that World Summit, I wanted the two of us to sit down together and watch this because it's so motivational about where you want to go and what
Right.
your life's mission is. And so we signed up together and went through that, and of course was obviously very inspirational, as we know.
Hmm.
Uh, and again, really meeting Dean at that time
Right.
was very memorable for me. His messages and the way he presents everything is so moving for me. And so ultimately, it was interesting because Kathy still had to work. I had actually taken days off and gone to her house so we could be together. And so she kind of was in and out of it some there. But when the summit was over and they presented this idea about the knowledge business here, okay,
Right. Right.
I was like, you know what? This is something I have thought about and wanted to do for a very long time. Uh, I actually attempted it, but with no guidance, on a personal base. I was trying to do it alone, and it just never fell into place. And so it gave me the inspiration to try this again, since
Well,
I knew that I could sign up and get some support.
yeah, you said wanting to do it alone. What is it that you wanted to achieve at that point? I know that you joined the challenge. Kathy was there with you, but I mean, and you had this epiphany, right? It's like, oh my
Yes,
God!
yes,
As
yes,
a teacher, I understood that because we're both. Well, I'm an ex-teacher, but a teacher is
yes,
always a teacher. So, what
absolutely.
at that point, what is it that you wanted to achieve?
Well, I felt like that to reach more people.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, I loved what I was doing.
Hmm.
I believed in the model that we were doing, and
Yeah.
actually by that time I was actually training others in our model and traveling all over the United States, and so I loved the job, but I just felt like there was more that I could do and reach more people.
Right.
Uh, so the idea of which is funny. about reaching them through the web. Okay,
Right.
because I remember as a teacher when they told us that we had to learn the computer, and I was like, "Oh no, no, no!"
I'm
And
laughing. You know why I'm laughing.
yes, absolutely.
That's a
And the
good
funny
thing.
thing about that was they started a course. Well, I would go in the morning and sit at my computer staring at it, and the kids would come in my class and they, Mr. T, what's wrong? I don't know what to do here.
Yeah.
And those kids came over and taught me everything that I needed to know. So it was such a great situation between the kids and me, and they would laugh at me, but they taught me so much. So that was also part of the learning that I also understand and want to help people also understand is that, you know what, these kids got things to teach us as well.
They
So,
do.
okay, for sure.
They absolutely do. I remember when I first first got that little thing that you would put the songs on. I didn't know what to do with it, and then
Absolutely.
I had no idea. And the kids said, "Let me do it for you." I mean,
Yeah,
that's it was so helpful.
absolutely. Yes. Yes.
I know what was the most challenging thing for you because it was for me too. The old
Yes.
thing for us.
Yeah, for sure. So,
So I know that you joined our Launch Lab Masterminds and you
yes.
joined our team. Did that help you pivot somewhat, or
Oh, absolutely.
can
And
you
that
talk
was
a
the
little bit
thing.
about that?
Yes, actually coming out of the summit,
Uh huh.
uh, again, as we know, things the universe sends us things, and we know that. I mean, it's if you want it, somehow it's going to get to you. And that was at that time I connected with Mike
Right.
and forgot it. And somehow we happened to be at the World Summit together. He saw me or whatever. And so we connected. And then, which ultimately led me with Mike to this group and the group that we're in, working together, which has been so instrumental for that. I know you've done interviews already with several of the people and,
All the
watched
parts.
those. I actually missed the Saturday ones, of course, because I was in surgery, but
Okay.
with my foot. But anyway, so these people that we're in, we're all together here, and we've been together over a two-year period here, and having that support again, like I say, of someone and just reaching out and having asking a question. And
Mhm.
there's going to be somebody that's going to jump in and answer a question or ask, so how can I help you? And we literally will jump on the computer and meet together and talk things out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Aiden, who is part of the team, says, ask and
Yes.
you shall receive. And
Yes.
Aiden is a great one for that. I mean, you ask and he's
Yes.
right on it. And so he's our he's the man that wants
Oh,
to take
yes.
overwhelm away for all of us seniors. So he
Absolutely.
is so instrumental. And so thank you, Aiden. And he also says, all he says, although I'm 32, when a few years ago I was exactly that like that when it came to tech. It's hard to believe, but those millennials just were born with that thing in
Oh,
their
well, it was funny. I have another one of my close friends here that comes in and checks on me every day
they,
because of my situation here with my foot. And yesterday, he's not been a member of Facebook forever, so he's now joined Facebook. So I'm sitting over there on the couch with him side by side, walking him through how to use his phone and how to copy and paste things and go through and make calls and all this stuff. And so we laugh about it, and because he calls me the tech guru, and I go like, what?
Oh, that is fun.
No, no way.
But Gary, it's so true because now you're just one or two steps ahead of him, and
Yes.
that is what's wonderful about this business.
Yes.
And
And
that
that's the
is
thing
what,
about this group,
yeah,
that all these people have these
exactly,
things, and we're all learning from one another and
exactly.
offering the things that we can to one another.
Absolutely. And I wanted to touch base on something that you said, cheerleader. I see you as our great cheerleader in this
Well,
group.
thank you.
You are always complimenting, you're always supporting, you're always championing every one of us on in this group. You are
Well, thank you.
you're so valuable to us. I just, and it's inborn in you because you've been doing it forever. It's just very natural, isn't it,
Well,
for
well,
you?
you have to understand how that occurred too. I was playing college football, and I'm sitting there in practice, getting my head beat in, by these guys, and looking over and saw these guys throwing girls around. I said, you know what? That looks like a lot more fun and less of a headache.
Yeah.
And so I ended up moving over to cheerleading. And again, loved it kind of thing. But I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I That's the way I support others. I'm very
You
much,
absolutely do a
into.
wonderful job of supporting. I mean, even I'm very touched by it
Well,
because
thank you.
I mean, you never miss a beat. And obviously Aiden says, indeed, Gary, the biggest cheerleader of them all right. So, and I also want you to know that there is someone, the Facebook user, I'm not quite sure, it could be Mina, who wants to wish you a quick recovery. And I know
Thank
that
you.
you
Yes.
went through several surgeries, and I'm so thankful that you are here. But you know what? I want this group to know that we just never give up. We just,
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
we have a job to do, and we're very passionate about what we want to do, and we have a big why, and that carries us through those peaks and valley. And you're going through a little bit of a valley here, but
Yeah.
yeah, you know what? We're your cheerleaders now.
No, absolutely. And that's the
Yeah,
way it's been,
yeah,
through all of this, people reaching out, and because it had last week was one of the craziest weeks of my life, because I literally
yeah.
had two surgeries in one week
Well,
on
I
the same,
know.
so it was really nuts. But yeah, and you feel that, you know, even when I couldn't even get to the computer,
I know.
again, these wonderful phones, I guess they're wonderful, that you can, I can get everything on my phone that I get on my computer. So
Uh-huh.
people reaching out to me, and me even being in the hospital and getting these, helpful statements and support. I mean, that just makes you feel good and lifts you up,
Absolutely.
and helps you through that recovery.
Yes, absolutely. I'm just going to answer this Facebook user who says, I don't know why it's mentioned Facebook user instead of mentioning my name. I think if you would try to go back up to the strip and click on it, and I think by the mere fact that you click on it, it gives StreamYard permission to use your name. And so I just want to read a couple of comments here. Aiden's with us. Heck yes, never give up. No matter the age, no matter the times, no matter the situation, just keep on going, keep on growing. Okay, so
Absolutely.
the Facebook user is Mina. So Mina's here to support us. You know, my next question is, what are your current results? But I know that your immediate current results is to get better because you've been through
Yes. Yes.
surgeries, and I know that sometimes life happens to us.
Yes.
Even we have the greatest plans, and life happens
Yes.
to us.
For
So
sure.
I know that at this point, getting better is the most current result that you're working on.
Yes.
But can we kind of go beyond that a little bit? Do you
Sure.
have any idea what is your next goal?
Well, and the thing is to be able to connect with parent families,
Mhm.
the young people, and to be able to provide any assistance they need around, because it really comes down to relationships
Absolutely.
between, the parents, caregivers, and these kids that are out there.
Yeah.
I actually have one family I'm working with, and things have been really good. I've enjoyed it. In fact, I had a session yesterday, and it was one of those breakthrough sessions with him, this young
Mhm.
man, this teenager, and so it's that real piece of just being available to
Yeah.
people, or sharing with them, getting to know them and what their particular situation is, because my what I'm doing is not just a rote piece here. I look at every family as it's a totally different group, which I know that's history from everything I've ever done, from teaching through the counseling.
Right.
And so I learn about them, and then we create a plan around how I can help them. What's the best way for me to help them?
Right.
So
Right.
that's where we want to go for the future. Um, with that. Absolutely.
And I know how authentic you are because you do it within the group. You know, our group is really all about connecting, building relationships. We call ourselves a
Yes.
family.
Yes.
And I see you do that within the group, you know. So thank you. I know how authentic you
Well,
are
thank you.
by saying that.
Thank you.
So I do want to ask you one more question. First of all, let me see what Aiden's saying. We're here for you, with you, Garry. Take the time to heal and getting better. That's when you come up, you come up with tons of energy. We know that. We know that to impact more families and young people. But before I ask you the next question, let's talk about that name that you have Sumantu there. People need to. They don't see Garry Talbert there.
Uh,
Okay,
no, it's
and
that's well,
you're always,
the one thing that everybody, or the kids that I taught,
uh-huh.
and even people around here even know, I have many personalities. Okay. So, and it started with St. Patrick's Day. I'm the biggest leprechaun you'll ever see.
Okay.
And then at Easter, I'm Racer Rabbit. I dress up as a rabbit, and because I used to, I'm an on track, a high performance driving instructor for on track stuff as well. And so, but how this all came about was I went on a wilderness trip back in '86 up to Al Royal in Lake Superior with 3 friends, and we had a wolf that came into our camp.
Oh wow.
And once I came off that island, I thought this wolf had come to me, all
And
right,
he
for a
did.
reason.
Yeah.
And so I came off trying to learn and research. So started a lot of researching things. Ultimately, Jessie, my daughter, when she was growing up as a young girl, every August we went to the biggest place, Upper Minnesota, where the largest number of wolves in the lower 48 states exist. We actually went to Yellowstone the summer they replaced the wolf. Well,
Okay.
the wolf became my mission to help. Was another thing for wilderness and habitat protection.
Right.
But happened to be at a workshop with my mentor who trained me in everything that I'm doing. And we had a Lakota, not a Navajo that came that was also a presenter. He and I clicked and got together, and we were talking. And some of my research, I had learned that Sumani Tutanka was Lakota Sioux for wolf.
Oh.
And while I was there with him, he gave me that name. That is my native name.
So how do you pronounce that?
All right, Sumanitu.
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 Wow.
So,
You know, I do believe in that animal spirit that
oh
comes
yes,
to you just when you need it, and then you
yes.
embody. I mean, it's part of you. So,
Well,
and
it was interesting too because again, part of the reason the wolf, then I went back in and started studying some Native American things, and when you pull up the wolf is teacher.
there you
And I
go.
went like, okay, that's it. You know, what can I say?
Yeah,
And
right.
so that's really, and people, it's funny you even saw that and asked because I'm not sure why that popped up today. It's somewhere in my stuff. So, but yes, Sumani too, and I'm a wolf. In fact, you can see over the top of my head. That's wolf eyes over my head
That
back
is
there.
beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, I do have one last question. Let me see. I just want to check the Wolfers Rising is Aiden says, you know. So and also Aiden says we are family here, and I love how authentic you are, Garry. That how we build lasting relationship and honest relationship
Yes,
also.
yes,
So that's great. Let me ask you one more question. If are you okay with this?
sure.
Everything's
Sure.
okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm hanging in here.
I'm having
No,
a
we're
good
good. No,
time.
I'm serious. I'm good. I'm
I'm
good.
having a good time. So, Garry, tell me, starting a self-education business changes one's life for sure.
Mm.
So, how does it make you feel and think about the world now that, yeah, I mean, that you are doing this extraordinary thing of the effective parent from dad's point of view. I mean,
Yeah.
not too many people do that, and not too many men have that to go to. I mean,
Yes.
so tell me, how do you feel about that? And
Oh, I'm just extremely excited. Again, this was just something through everything I've ever done,
Mhm.
and then the idea of me creating this to reach out to families. And then as things have progressed, the real piece also is that every time I'm working with a family, a young man or a parent, excuse me, I always search and think back. There are a number of things. I always go back to how I was raised. All
Right.
right. And then I go back to how I raised Jesse,
Your
and
daughter.
knowing that, you know, it's not an easy road, and it's not all fun.
No.
Okay. And there are things that happen. And even as a parent, when you're trying to do your best, we make mistakes. I will tell you
Absolutely.
right up front, I made so many mistakes. But the one thing that I always did with Jesse, in particular, and again, I had my mentor, which was very important to me, uh, Sylvia Rim. But if I made a mistake, I recognized it. I
Good.
could tell when we were in our argument or whatever, and I walked away and I said, "Oh wow, that's on me." All right. And so what should I have done different? And even what do I do now? How do I correct this? And in turn, that's what I also want dads, you know, people to understand, you know what, you're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
But, and so you have to really sit back and say, okay, you know what, I screwed up there. You know, what can I now do about it? And I think that's the thing, through everything with Jesse, it all, I mean, when she was living with me, and the light of my life, and she turned 16, and all of a sudden, I think it happened on her 16th birthday. We woke up and there was this monster in my house, and
Well, at 16, they can't be.
it happened on her birthday, and so we had that was the roughest year. We had a lot of stuff, you know, but I kept my boundaries. We still communicated, you know, there was some difficult communications, but ultimately we found the other side, just like we're trying to do with this, what we're trying to do with this business stuff, and found the other side. Jesse and I really rejoined and came back together, and so I try to help parents, dads understand that dads need to be involved.
Absolutely.
Okay. And there's such very important parts to that. And there's a whole another story even about Jesse around that showed me that.
So actually, you took that mess with Jesse, and that has become your message, really.
Yeah. So absolutely. Yes. And there's even a mess before that one, you know, that you, so there, you know,
we could be here forever for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you know, in helping people recognize, you know, that they're going to be messes.
Yeah.
And what do you do about those messes? Because
how you respond.
Absolutely. And it's what I always taught kids.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as failure as long as you do something about it.
Absolutely.
You know, what's the next step here? You don't just rest and let it lay there. Right. What do you now do to correct it, to improve, to make things better?
Absolutely.
That's just really the piece here.
Yeah, too many people just walk away and sever their relationship, and then they feel guilty for the rest of their life. And trying to get back is just horrible, and it creates so many bad feelings for everybody, not just
absolutely. And that also goes back to Elizabeth that you've interviewed about that I've really connected with in our group, and you did the interview with her about the forgiveness piece, and I believe so much and have used. I was even. Her strategy and things were things I was using, letting go, you know, kinds of things. I mean, just like, you know, Jesse's mom and I split up. Okay. So, you know, there was that time that occurred. And we went through some difficult stuff there, obviously, that you go through. Yet today, she is a very good friend of mine. We are, you know, we've let all that go. We now recognize that we are the parents of Jesse, and that she's done great. We're so happy for her. And that we are, you know what? We didn't let our mess between us get in the way of helping Jesse get where she needed to be.
Absolutely. And, you know, that reminds me, you know, I want to, you know, it reminds me of Dean Graziosi also, who is going to be part of this Time to Thrive challenge, who had a similar
Yes.
situation of a father, but he was able to respond properly because he knew who to put first. That
Yes.
you have to get your ego out of it. I mean, I don't want to make small of it, so I'm not even going to go there because
No, well,
it,
that was part of that first summit when he
yeah,
shared that story. I'm like,
yeah,
whoa, that's okay. That hits home. That's big. That's
absolutely,
big stuff for me. So,
absolutely.
yeah. So that's the thing. We're always learning and recognizing, and there are people out there everywhere that will join with you to make this happen.
Absolutely. And I know that you're doing a wonderful job. You've already been, on a summit. You're already doing some work with this. And so I want to congratulate you
Thank
for
you.
for the work that you do, Garry. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
And I'm hoping that you're going to heal very quickly so that you can get to do what you love to do the most, which is cheerleading and doing your photography and
Yes.
being the
Yes.
dad and
Yes.
showing people how to be dads. And
Yes.
so thank you so very much, Garry.
Well,
And
thank you.
thank you. And I want to say to the audience, please join the next Free Time to Thrive Challenge by Tony Robbins and
Yes.
Lee Graciosi,
Absolutely.
together with our senior WOW Club. It's the WOW Club, because we want to learn together and we want to share our experiences in our group where seniors really matter.
For
Thank,
sure.
thank you, Garry, and thank you everyone for participating today.
Thank you very much.
Bye
Take
for
care,
now.
folks. Bye.